Welcome to the Accomplish Impact Podcast, a space where we explore what it truly means to accomplish in life with a focus on purpose-driven leadership. We'll be releasing new episodes every other Tuesdays at 6 a.m. So be sure to subscribe and join us as we uncover the inspiring journeys of leaders who are making an impact in their space. In each episode, we sit down with visionary business leaders who are not only achieving remarkable success, but doing so with a deep sense of meaning and purpose. I'm your host, Benjamin, and in today's episode, we are joined by Jason Tai, founder and CEO of Code Capsule. They specialize in creating digital solutions for high-performance businesses. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you, Benjamin, for such nice introduction.
So, Jason, can you just share with us a little bit of who you are and what do you do?
Hi, my name is Jason. So I run a software company that focus on building custom application for high-performance businesses. Most of the applications we build are powered by AI. And also, we also do mobile application, web development, and also system integration with many other systems as well.
Yeah, so you say that you work with a lot of AI nowadays, and especially the growing trend of AI. Perhaps maybe you can dive a bit deeper into how you use AI in your business and your applications.
So, very interesting question. At this current point of time, right? My team, basically, most of them are programmer. We leveraging AI to do code. So it doesn't mean that we use AI to code, but we use AI to basically QC our code, or we use AI to generate certain code. And from there, we will look into logic and change over it. And we integrate this piece of code with that piece of code together to form a big system. So this is like part of the things that we have transformed recently when there's a new tools. There's many tools out there basically to help programmers to write better codes or help us to speed up our process. So this is what we have done in our businesses. So beside that, we are very much a technical company, which we focus on programming, right? And we are not very good in marketing or other aspects. So that when that comes to that part, so AI also helped me a lot in terms of how do I brand myself? How do I speak this podcast? Maybe all this thing with help of ChatGPT AI that help a lot of me, giving me ideas how to do it.
Yeah. So from what I hear, you don't just use AI in your business solutions to your clients, but you also use AI in your day-to-day business operations.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think, as we're going to talk about AI, why do you think people should care about AI?
Okay. Very good question and a good question. Why people need to care about AI? Because this is like a new tools. It's like I would say water or air, but it's like a new tools that will help us in our daily life. So, for example, last time when you before AI happened, or before there's AI, before there's ChatGPT, when you want to do something, you are stuck. How do you do it? You Google, you ask for help, you ask your mentor, you knock the door, you ask your staff, you ask your colleague, ask your bosses, whoever you're gonna ask, or ask your parents, right? But now with AI, you can basically go to ChatGPT. Hey, you're the expert, blah blah blah. I'm looking for help with this. Can you help me with this? So they come up with certain suggestion on how to kickstart their journey to basically help yourself to onboard something new or something you never tried before, or something you're stuck with. So it's very important now to basically I won't say live with AI, but have this tool to help us on our daily life.
Yeah, I think that's so true, especially with the AI being so accessible. Anyone can ask anything, right? You don't have to have a mentor. You don't have to have even people around to ask. You can just ask AI. But I think when we talk about AI, is AI just ChatGPT? Is that what AI is?
Okay. Basically, ChatGPT, they enable AI to be famous. So before ChatGPT, there's machine learning. So this is where the fundamental of how ChatGPT was started. So ChatGPT basically form of large language model, meaning that it's basically a machine learning algorithm behind the scene where they keep learning, and after they're learning through certain data, certain experiences from the data source they found, and it become a ChatGPT. So in the layman term, this is how it works. Now, what is before ChatGPT? What's the real AI use case out there? Now, there's a lot of company, especially big enterprises like big brands, right? They have a lot of data, so they use this data, put it into AI we call machine learning to do prediction of sales, prediction of which store should we open with certain parameters they put in. All these technical jargons, but before ChatGPT, this is how the AI going to use. And I think few years before ChatGPT happened, there's this computer vision on the medical side. They're already starting to implement AI into medical X-ray, meaning that the moment they capture X-ray, the AI itself or the machine learning itself can determine what disease from this X-ray image have. So this is like before ChatGPT, that thing already happened. Yeah, so this is how the AI application started to use before ChatGPT.
So I think what I can see is that, yeah, definitely AI is broader than ChatGPT, and a lot of people only think, okay, AI has ChatGPT and that's it, right? But there's a broader implication and all that. And I think that the next big question that, everyone's asking is AI going to kill our jobs? Because that's what everyone's saying. AI is going to take my job. It's going to leave you jobless. Is that true?
Okay, that's very interesting question. Again, I do not have an exact answer for that. Now, it really depends on what you really are doing. Now, I'll give you an example. Last time, before there's car, we are relying on horses to ride to work or go travel from place to another place. But after they implement car, people will say, "Wow, this is so expensive. I cannot afford it. Maybe it's for rich people." They kind of noise. But now we see car is like a norm for everyone, especially in Malaysia. Now, for AI or ChatGPT per se, whether will they kill our job, whether they will replace us one day, we do not know. But as for now, certain tasks it will be escalate faster. So in other words, that if you using AI to work, it will basically help you to be more effective, more efficient in doing the things that you should do. And most likely you'll get bonuses if you really, really fast or really doing things that the company and hit the KPI faster. I think that is like the tools that we need to learn how to leverage instead of being fear about it. Now, I believe for my career, like programming career, now there's tools to help programmers to code. Actually, not only programmers. I saw one of my clients, they teach how people use AI to code. And during that session that they have with their clients, right, the client can use prompt to write very nice program, good program, dating apps, and workable dating apps. We are not talking about the fake one. They are really workable. People can post things, in that context, right? And what happened is that they don't even understand how their thing works. But who cares? The most important is that thing works. Now that will give a track to programmer. I believe a lot of my peers will maybe agree with me, but it's actually not necessarily very true, because certain part of the program cannot be designed by ChatGPT. Certain part of architecture cannot be designed by ChatGPT. Maybe not yet. Maybe future, we do not know yet. So it will be a new challenge or new phase of the game that we all need to play or level up. Yeah. So I see that it's not a threat, but it's a tools to help us to level up. If you know how to use it, it can be very useful to you. It can help you in your not only daily life, your work, even the relationship. Also, of course, it depends on how you interpret the context.
Yeah. I think that's so true. But I think you also then talk about this thing where you say, for example, ChatGPT can write code, and it might work. But for example, it might not be the best way, or it might not be the way that normal humans able to interpret it, and it might not be compatible with other code. Because I think, as I understand, ChatGPT is very good at creating stuff, but it's not very good with context. The same way it goes for most AI, because it's just trained to predict, in a sense, the next thing. Do you think that perhaps because of the rise of AI and people just being over dependent on AI, that things might work, but there's a perceived level of competence where we may be able to reach 90% of completing the job, but because we rely so heavily on AI, as humans we're not able to identify the additional 10%, and then our work is actually not that great anymore.
Very good perspective you have, and this is very true. Perhaps some of the people that I see, or some people I interview, especially on programmers, so when we give them a technical test, we will basically need to make sure they are not using ChatGPT. We need to test the understanding they have, whether they really know their stuff or not. So this is one of the challenges that we face, but we have certain way to overcome it. But whatever you're trying to say regarding to, let's say we use ChatGPT, depending on ChatGPT, and then the real knowledge that we have is like lesser and lesser. In some form, yes, it is. If let's say the person are too lazy, over lazy, that I believe there were people like that. Not everyone are like that. And with that context, yes, it is dangerous for that kind of people. They may want to achieve certain work on that certain time frame, but after that, I forgot already. I don't know how to do it. Okay, I'm going to use ChatGPT again. And what if one day ChatGPT no longer available for free, or is getting more expensive? We do not know. This one, I think most likely the OpenAI will know whether that will be free forever or not. So this is the challenges that if we rely over too much on AI. So there's a difference between relying on AI and leveraging on AI. There are two different paths. If we are relying on AI, that will be a huge challenge for future. Everything we don't know, we just ask. Oh, like that lah. Oh, like that lah. Then we forgot already. So it become just another Google or another ma, how to do this? Then done already, next, But if we know how to leverage on AI, that's a different skill set altogether. And that will basically help us to be more knowledgeable, to be more in-depth into the subject expert that we are interested to.
But how, let's say for your case, how do you distinguish if I'm leveraging it or I'm to extent depending on it? Because I feel that the line is sometimes very close, right? Sometimes it might feel like, okay, I'm leveraging AI, but it might also be a dependency on it.
Okay, so there's one easy way to know about this is talking about programming terms. So normally what we do is like this: we have a certain way to code. So the moment let's say we want to write some script, so the faster way is, hi ChatGPT, can you write this is the function, Then ChatGPT generated the code for you. You copy paste or it generated that, you run, it works. Okay, what if I want to add more things? So what we do is that normally the program will go into the code and modify it directly. So this is the terms or the things that internally we do it. And when we have certain stuff like, hey, this one cannot work, that one cannot work, then we will basically Google a little bit, why cannot work? We try to understand from the root cause, or lazy way, we can paste into AI and then ask ChatGPT to help, hey, why this one doesn't work? And this one show an error. Why it's causing error? So this is on relying already. But how to leverage? When we know this error already, what do we do about it? Now we need to, so this is a very defined, there's no like very clear define. So the way that we do it is this way. The moment we know, we identify certain part doesn't work, right? We ask ChatGPT give us the things. So it means that the way ChatGPT provided the solution is not correct already. Then this is where we as a programmer need to come in to rethink how this logical going to work, how this algorithm going to work. So we will need to maybe write down a little bit, and then we tell ChatGPT, okay, why not you change this way? Do this first and do that so that we can get this result, and take this to do that, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So, and in that context, we are not 100%, we are leveraging on AI, doing some routine work for us, but on the mastermind, we are still back to the mastermind, we still gain control of it. I think that's very important for my career or my business or my staff that are relying or not depending on leveraging on AI to do work, especially for programming.
Yeah, I think I see the key distinction here is that when it comes to dependency, AI is your instant solution. Any problem, you go straight there. But when we talk about leveraging, you use it as a tool to supplement your existing knowledge. You use it as a tool to make things better, right? Instead of only going straight to it. Yeah. And I think when we talk about AI, how do you think business owners who perhaps are not using AI, or even like your expertise also, which is automation, which probably goes quite hand in hand with AI, how can businesses and business owners implement AI and also automation into their businesses?
It's a very broad answer for that, because automation, we talk about many layers. There's a customer-facing function, there's a backend where it involves manufacturing. So there's many layers of the automation. So in our case, right, the case study that we have seen, let's talk about manufacturing, because this is not something easier to gain access with. And in manufacturing area, basically there's company using AI to use vision to detect defect. So for example, let's say I'm a phone manufacturer. So they want to do all the manufacture of the phone circuit, right? Now, how do they check if, let's say, they're producing thousands? So imagine a staff, right, doing tech for 1,000 pieces a day. Then by the time reach 2 hours or 3 hours later, right, most likely the focus point is no longer there. Now, how to do QC there? Then you need to hire someone to focus on QC, but human got limitation. So in this case, there's a use case where we are using AI, we are using camera integrated with AI. This is not the ChatGPT AI. This is another kind of AI. Talking about vision, where you will detect, this is right, this is wrong. So when the moment they detect wrong, they will reject the item. So that item will need to recondition again. So in whatever the manufacturer want to do. So this is like one of the example on the back end, on the automation use case on the manufacturing. So the fun part now that you can go to YouTube. There's many tutorial online. They will teach you how to use make.com, end-to-end, connect to WordPress, just install a plugin, connect to ChatGPT, connect to other similar LLM model, similar to ChatGPT, a cheaper version to basically be your customer support, to basically generate an email or reply email to you. So all these things can be done very, very accessible, and there's many tools out there, and some of them are free somehow to use. So that's how business can start. I think if let's say you want to ask me how to really start, the first step in AI is you go to ChatGPT, learn how to prompt. I think that's the first step. Second step is that which business are something you repeatedly do. For example, you have an inquiry every day or every hour. That part of the process you can basically outsource to an AI chatbot to do it. That's one part of the automation that can be done. And the other part is that every month you need to generate the pay slip for HR. So what can you do about that? So there's also some tools basically helping HR to generate all these pay slip by the end of the month, like today, like the end of the month. So today is close to the end of the month. So the AI can start doing the work, and then everyone will receive a pay slip. Now the HR just need to make sure the number is correct. Then yes, that's all. So this is like some automation that business can start leveraging. There's a small step, there's an advanced step. So we can basically advise our customer to go step by step.
Basically any repeatable task that businesses feel that is taking a lot of their time and resources can be automated and also used with AI.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to automation and AI, is it necessary for all businesses? Because, for example, businesses might say, you know what, labor is relatively cheap for me to manufacture, or labor is relatively cheap for me to QC. Is there a problem? Do you think from your perspective, it's problematic if businesses decide that, hey, I don't need AI, I don't need automation?
Yes. So before AI, I'm in this automation industry doing software, and part of the project or use case that I've done before is helping a company to scale their operation. It's an e-commerce company. How can an e-commerce company fulfill their orders from 1,000 orders per day to 10,000 to 100,000 orders a day? That's crazy a lot. And if you rely on human being, it's like, hey, it's not possible to fulfill 100,000 a day. So when there's a Shopee 10/10 or 11/11, so that warehouse will go crazy. Now I was in that kind of business. Now we have this conversation before with the clients where should we implement automation? Because automation at the time is very expensive. We're talking about robotic, one robot arms of 100,000 ringgit. Now maybe slightly cheaper. I don't know about now, but that's how the price is going to work. So if you want to implement all those, especially in Malaysia, labor costs are still relatively cheaper compared to our neighbor like Singapore or other European countries where they implement most of the automation there. Now, why they will do that? Because the labor cost is higher much there. So it's more effective, more efficient in terms of cost to basically using the automation. Now, in our case, in Malaysia, right, let's put the AI context back to the case, right? Automation with robotic is expensive. I believe a lot of startups out there, a lot of people out there or consultants out there trying to solve that problem, trying to make robot cheaper. Try to make that robot cheaper, like how cheap is ChatGPT providing free, or the open source model providing free for everyone to use. So their goal, I believe their goal is trying to make that to be a lower cost so that most of business can afford it. But the pain point is that the costs are still very high. But compared to AI, let's say ChatGPT, for example, or other open source LM, there's Canva, there's Gemini from Google. Now all this currently they have freemium for us to use. So this open up another door for a lot of businesses. Even though you do not need to have money, you can access to it. I believe a 12-year-old kid, as long as you have a smartphone, you know how to access the internet, you can download ChatGPT and you can start asking questions, making things, growing with ChatGPT if you know how to use it, leverage it well. So this is like the differences of the cost versus whether should we implement or not. So it really depends on the use case. And for the use case that, from my experience, if let's say doing on robotic, that the cost is much higher. A lot of businesses in Malaysia, very hard for them to implement because there's high investment, and the ROI doesn't make sense at all. This is from very true use case. Versus now, the AI is just a phone away. Yeah, you can just download within 5 minutes, you can start using that. So create a different kind of value. So I think the perceived value is very, very different from previous day before the AI or before LM.
Yeah, I think it's definitely so much more accessible for individuals on the ground. But I think what's important also is that like you shared, with humans, you can only do so much, because if you want to scale your business from 100 to 1000, you need 10 times more the manpower, right? But with AI or even with automation and all these other tools, you're able to, in a sense, is it scale indefinitely?
Yeah, I wouldn't say indefinitely. Definitely, you will reach to a point. You need to back to that use case or the industry that we are in, and also to study it. So I think it can be studied, it can be predictable.
But yeah, I mean, the potential upside of implementation is
You can
massive.
scale. Massive, yes.
Compared to coming to, using manpower and labor.
And the value also is different.
Yeah, that's true. And I think, perhaps for people or parents who are thinking of where to send their kid in terms of whether they should enter this field of AI and automation, do you think that is a field that we should get everyone to be a part of, or what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, for this case, since I'm in this space, right, if let's say I have children, right, will I send my children to study computer science, learning programming, learning about AI? Yes, definitely I will. But do I encourage them to be part of the innovator? Maybe not. So I will surrender that choice back to them. Okay, encouragement, definitely I will encourage everyone to go in. But in terms of whether I want to force them in, I will not. Yeah, but if you ask me, is this a good field to join in now? Yes, it is a good field. If you are creative enough and you want to change the world, I think this is a very good platform. Very much problem that's still out there to be solved and waiting for one of you to join in the game to solve together.
Yeah, but I think I like that you said that you would send or educate your child to some extent with AI, because I think the requirement, especially with this growing, with the advent of AI, that it's inevitable that we will have to use AI in our jobs, right? Then perhaps for everyday people, what are practical steps that I can level up my skill and be able to implement AI more? So one, my job is not in threat, but secondly, I'm able to keep up with the demands of the job market and things like that.
So I give you an example. This recently I did with my wife. So my wife have this new hobby, trying to try different skincare products to apply on my face. On my face. Thanks to my wife. So how do we implement that? How my wife make sure I will follow the step that she do? So what she did was she asked ChatGPT, can you create a plan for my husband who are geek, who do not like to use facial products? And then ChatGPT literally do that thing out, and my wife asked me, can I print this out and put big in our toilet so they can do it every day? It will remind you. Now this is like a very baby step I do with my wife as fun, to basically to improve our relationship. So this is like part of the fun thing that we leverage on. I think this is something that I will encourage people to try. This is just a small step. The other step that I was inspired by a marketer. So the marketer I was telling the marketer, hey, I don't know how to position my company. I have this stuff. So I was talking to the marketer. So what this marketer do is that he opened out his laptop, asked ChatGPT, give me one liner for Code Capsule, who are primarily doing software engineering, mobile AI solution, blah blah blah. What is a one-line capture that you can give? So when he do that, then he showed me the step. ChatGPT showed me the step and the words. So I'm like, oh, I can do that. So it's also opened up my mind, because although I'm an implementer, but I do not know that the use case can be done in a different expertise, where with different expertise, I learned the way, hey, this is one way to do it. So this is like one of the fun thing. For me, it's fun because it's not my thing. It's not I don't really do marketing every day. So this is like the things that I learned from a different perspective of life.
Yeah, I think that's important. Just experimenting and playing with AI. Yeah,
Yes.
At least then you can kind of understand how it works and actually be able to interact with it, right? But do you think what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about AI?
I think on the general market, right, general people will think that AI is ChatGPT. In fact, ChatGPT is part of this AI revolution. ChatGPT is the one who bring out the AI revolution. This is true. We need to give him the credit. But ChatGPT is just part of the AI ecosystem. There's much more in terms of this space. There's medicine. There's a digital twine, which means you can create a digital avatar world where you design your models, or you design your warehouse solution there. So I want to share this example on top of AI, what AI can do. This is you can Google up this thing called digital twine. It's not a new words. It may be new for some of you, but it's not a new word in the industry. So digital twine, what it means is that we basically create another world in the digital world. And let's say I want to build a building. I want to know how the building look like. Okay, now I can design the building using whatever software I did, and I put it into this digital world. And from this digital world, I can calculate how many car parks I should put, how many car park can I design, and how long for this car to come down, and how many people can I put it in, and so on and so forth. Now, this is one part of use case of building design. Now, the most interesting part is that I have a friend. He's not a designer, but he loved designing seat sofa as hobby. Very, very fun guy. Now he found this AR, and he can draw things in the AR world. There's another form of digital twine where you draw things there. You can put a real measurement. You can see how you want to do it before you go and take the real hammer and wood and knock it out. Now, this is one way that you can save costs in terms of doing digitally, seeing it, predict it, put it thing there to measure. Now, this is a second use case for personal one. So there's one use case. It's a Malaysian company, and what they did was they're trying to predict the traffic. So they create a digital world with the road, the jam, how the road look like, things like that, and they put in the car, how they can adjust the speed of each car object. Then the car start to move. So when the car start to move, right, while you adding more cars, so they will create the conjunction. So they will use that to design their this red light traffic light system to see what is the most effective way to do it. Now, all these things happen before the real implementation. So you can save a lot of costs. And when you buy things or you design things, right, you basically study first in the digital world before you come in. Now, all these things can do via digital twine, and all this moving object is where the AI can play around, where you put it in, AI from there will monitor this cost traffic jam. Maybe we can change this, we can change that, using different things to do different prediction. So this is like one of few cases that implemented using another world of AI.
Wow. That's very beneficial. And yeah, like you say, can save lots of man hours and even the cost of having to build infrastructure and realize, hey, I've got problems I need to fix with it, right? But as much as there's upside to AI, what do you think is the biggest dangers of AI?
The bigger dangers of AI is actually quite dangerous. So this is part of the worry that I have. I'm sharing from my heart, where if you know how to use AI, right? If let's say someone with very, very bad intention, they can basically ask AI, how can I harm that person or harm the company, frame the person? The AI can give you very, very detailed plan on how to do it. And you can brainstorm with them on everything, right? So it's also included all the back thing. Now, when this is one of the bigger issue, I think it's not only for us, but it's a national level issue. Malaysia set up a national AI office, Malaysia, where they try to come up with a policy to control, to basically try to limit what AI can be done on certain contexts. So that's very good initiative by the government, and I believe this is very, very important for our next generation, because this will, if let's say a young people or a kids or 12 years old, someone 12 years old that familiar with how to use ChatGPT, if they have a bad thoughts coming in their mind, and that will change entire things. It can be a very bad person and be very good at it also. So this is a negative side of AI, where I will encourage parents to basically watch out also, not to stop them, but to guide them into a right way to how to use the AI.
But yeah, I mean, I think at the same time also, even with social media, I'm sure platforms like Facebook, Meta, Instagram, they're all using some sort of AI to feed people algorithms and feed people the content. Do you believe there's a danger there when it comes to people getting a lot of like feeding people with dopamine in terms of their content, because AI is so good at personalizing things to individuals?
Yes. This is an open study from one of the social media platform, where they publicize this report and telling about the dangers when a platform become very famous. So for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say your Facebook page, and this let's say Facebook choose to make your Facebook page to be famous. They can do it. They have a certain algorithm to put you, and the power of it, right? It's not only people will like your page now. If let's say you have a shop, people may queue up for the shop. Now this is a benefit, a positive one. But on the negative side, it can be also making you addictive into it. And that already happened in TikTok. I mean, TikTok also, the CEO also mentioned that they try to limit the time for the kids or for people who play in TikTok, they'll show what you like first. On a certain hours later, they'll show what you do not like to basically keep you out of the apps. So they have certain initiative to do that. So I think this is very much possible where those big giant, TikTok, I believe Facebook did that also, to basically help to protect I believe also there's a policy to guide that. So it depends on the country. So it really depends on the country, how the country going to form the policy to help to basically limit the big giant to tune the algorithm to basically helping the people not to be very addictive or over addictive into it.
Okay, but yeah, I think that's very reassuring to see that even within Malaysia and globally, there's some sort of check and balances and guidelines to ensure that AI isn't misused and we don't weaponize it. Yeah. So I think talking about the biggest danger of AI. So what is your personal biggest fear when it comes to AI?
Basically, the next generation. So I'm not afraid of AI will be involved, or maybe one day robots getting cheaper. They put AI into robot. I believe already happened. Few company out there. I see some of the company are doing experimental, trying to do POC on that part. It's not a secret anymore. And what my bigger fear is that how when AI is not being regulated, how people want to use AI. That is more my bigger fear. When the AI was in the bad people, like let's talk about scam call. So the scam, they can also use AI to scam you by whatever you say, the AI recording, and they'll tell you should reply this. This is part of the dangerous. Personally, I felt and this is on the current situation. But for the next generation, the very, very dangerous part is that if let's say some young kids like my example just now, if they want to harm certain party and they don't know what to do, they use this ChatGPT to do it, right? Then when they give a lot of suggestion and may cause them to be very, very bad person. So this is something I'm very, very also.
And I think, I don't know, do you feel that there's anything that people can do? Because like you said, there's already the government commission to already step into place and there are international guidelines, but what about, the everyday person? I feel like I'm a bit helpless. There's all these people weaponizing and using AI to create deepfakes of people and defaming others. It can feel like a lot of noise out there. I feel like, wow, AI is just going to absolutely destroy the world. What are your thoughts on that?
It's very true. There's a possibility that negative part will happen. I mean, I'm not denying it. If you ask me how can we prevent this to happen, to be honest, I don't have a direct answer. But for my point of view is that every speech that we want to go out to a social media or open platform, we need to be very careful on this and we need to be very mindful. It will be down to every individual ethic as well. So I do hope that we as a human being or Malaysian generally or people generally will have this good human ethic that we can also care about how other people feel when we want to do all these words or framing other people or doing out for fun. So I think this is something that very hard to prevent, but it's more like how when it happen, how you want to perceive it. What's your stand on it and how's your heart stand? Are you want to revenge? That will cause another war again. So this is something that what we can control, we do what we can control.
And do you think AI is superior compared to humans in completing tasks?
Not yet. If AI can help me to flip my clothes, that would be great. Can drive me to work, that would be great. Can cook for me, that would be better. Right. So I think a lot of tasks, I will say AI are not yet there. Are not yet close enough. Maybe one day, we don't know. Maybe, we don't know. But if let's say one day that really happened, I believe as a human being, generally, we will find a way to navigate that situation. It will be a new challenge, new breakthrough also. This is what I believe.
And how do you think AI is going to change the world in the next 5 years?
For the past history, AI is the most faster growing in the world. For in terms of tech, AI is a fast growing. In the short term of time, many good LLM are out. A lot of them are open source, and people are willing to share how we do it. This is how we do it. They fight for their competency. So, in the next 5 years, I believe we won't escape from it. It will be something that it will be part of our daily life, most likely. The way I see it, this is my perspective. Now, whether you being controlled by them or you control them, this is something that we need to make decision. So yeah.
I think for the people listening to this conversation, what do you think is one takeaway that they should take back?
I think based on our conversation we have, right, I realize AI also can bring not only big good impact for people, but also bad impact for people. So the one takeaway I would like the user to take away is that to basically be when we use AI, we need to be in a state that we are not harming other people. We are doing great for ourselves. We are doing great to making the world better.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to yet another episode of the Accomplish Impact Podcast. We release episodes bi-weekly on Tuesdays at 6 a.m. So if you haven't already, we encourage you to subscribe as we're on Spotify as well as YouTube. You can also follow us on our social media at accomplish.asia, on Instagram and TikTok, where we post snippets of this podcast. If you want to find out more about the Accomplish community and how you can be a part of it, drop us a DM on our socials or email us at hello@accomplish.asia. We'll see you at the next one.